So June has been and gone, so let's take a look at the details of how the store has performed through the month. In terms of the highlights, the new channel content came out. I did the review, build and giveaway for the Les DIY Pixel Dan T6 shuttle. The review video seemed to do quite well. Interesting comments, people's kind of viewpoint on bricks, and if you haven't watched the video to find out what I thought about the brick quality and the build quality, just find it in the videos. And in terms of the giveaway, not a lot of people entered that, only a dozen or so people. Maybe that's just a reflection of it being a non-branded brick part, but yeah, interesting experiment. We'll see if we do anything like that again in the future. The other new kind of content was the what is the part out value videos, and those themselves seem to be going really well. They kind of fit within my workflow really well as well. Kind of, you're doing part outs anyway. You can record the first half of it as you do in the part out, and then you can do the actual Bricklink and eBay part out brick store parts later on when you're going to actually use the videos. So those work really well. We've also expanded and organized the used parts, and that organization of it has seriously saved some time. Should have done that a long time ago, but it has allowed more efficiency there, but also an opportunity to see where more could be added, which will be important over the coming months as we try to build the inventory, and especially the third point there, growing that store lot count, targeting 14,000 lots or more this month, and not too far away at the moment, but it is a continual battle. It doesn't take much for you to lose 50 lots if someone clears you out with stuff. So those really are the key highlights from the month. In terms of the inventory status, as you can see through the month, it was pretty flat till kind of midpoint in terms of lots at least, whilst the actual inventory has pretty much been a steady build. A few kind of peaks and troughs as always, and then tailing away, but a solid month getting parts in the store. The first week wasn't particularly good, even though it kind of says there was a big bulk there. I have no record of it, so I can't really tell you how much I put in there, but yeah, it was an interesting month in terms of finding the time and working through sets where you've got one or two kicking around as opposed to a more volume of it. So you're working hard to get a couple of thousand parts in a day. Sales by platform, Bricklink as ever dominating that landscape, clawing back another % over Brickowl this month, as Brickowl did seem to kind of ease away again. It feels like, I don't know whether kind of because you're just kind of conscious of it being kind of the second fiddle platform, so to speak. When it is quiet, you really notice it being quiet, especially when Bricklink is predominantly quite consistent. But a 1% shift there, no great shakes, and it's probably I don't know how reflective of that is of other sellers, but if you are one and it is reflective or not reflective of yours, please do comment down below, because I'd be really interested to hear. In terms of new versus old, added an awful lot of used parts, which did help with the lot count especially, and that is reflected in that used bumping up by 100% really, from 4% to 8%. The store is a new store, so the used stuff that I'm really doing is working through my older sets and bins of sets that I've got and things like that. Yes, I've picked up some sets used along the way from Facebook Marketplace and things like that, but the ultimate objective is for the store to be 100% used, 100% new parts and not used. So it's a case of kind of feeding it in and hoping it moves along. This is come back from the past, kind of just showing kind of where parts have been added and where they've gone out. As you can see, the first week of the month was a really slow week, and it's built gradually over the 4 weeks of the month, with week 25 being the one where I really managed to get a lot of parts in. And if you've watched the vlogs, you'll have seen why that was. But equally, kind of, those orders, kind of when we were talking a couple of months ago, we were looking at about 10,000 parts a month plus, and that's a real drop. Yes, week 26 will getting back on track there, but week 27 is probably back to week 25's kind of action. So whilst I know quite a few kind of other vlogs talk about the Northern Hemisphere slowdown, it is school holidays here in Australia, so that is clearly having a big effect. Not knowing what I did in week 23, just where we are, kind of, I need to keep better records. But what that does mean is we had a net gain of about 3,500 parts over the month. And as you'll know from the vlogs, I kind of talk about that week on week. Sales by colour, same old faces, isn't it? Light blue grey, dark blue grey, black, white, Star Wars all the way. Tan, if you like a bit of Hoth, that's your man. The rest of it is, it comes and goes. It's always there. Surprised how far down reddish brown is, because you often feel like you're doing an awful lot of that. But yeah, it's quite low down this month, but there you go. So, sales by the months. June, obviously, a big drop from 182 to 138. That works out about 11 sales a week, which in isolation isn't like the end of the world kind of number, but its kind of compound impact is a 24% drop. And that in itself led to a 26% drop in revenue for the month. Yes, it means your postage is down. Yes, it means your packaging costs are down. So, it doesn't necessarily mean a massive fall in profitability as well, but it does kind of impact where you are on your forecasting. And that kind of number obviously is the lowest we've been this year. Going back, I haven't gone all the way back yet, but I intend to. Just to see, but obviously comparable stats aren't really possible because of the store growth from the beginning of the year, so it'll be interesting, but it's not going to give me too much insight. So we'll see how July goes. First week of July, as I said, is not looking stellar, but it's still the school holidays here. Once those are over, maybe things will return to a bit more of a tempo. We shall see. Items sold corrected from last month for all of you regular viewers. So May was a slight increase on April, 0.7%, not a great deal. But obviously June's fall is significant, way down to numbers that kind of go back between December and January of last year, which matches where we are with the order numbers as well. So at least that's consistent with performance. As you can see from the daily sales, there's a fair few blanks in there. Periods of time where Brickowl doesn't really do an awful lot, especially that 21st to 23rd. One day without a Bricklink order as well, which is a very rare occurrence, to be fair, that being the 3rd, so the first Monday. And as you can see, kind of the pattern kind of grew towards the last week and a half of the month, which funnily enough was kind of the beginning of the school holiday. So whether people are ordering parts to use during their school holiday time or not, I'm not sure. That's my gut instinct. But with the week being a 5-weekend month, you would have hoped there'd be more peaks in there, but no. So that's where we are on the dailies. What that means when you map it across the days of the week is that Friday and Saturday were the star attractions. And, anyone that's watched these before knows that this data shifts around, and that's reflected in the daily sales from March through to June, which is the period of time we've been tracking this. Friday and Saturday are in the lead, but only just. Thursday is the quiet day. Every other day seems to be okay. And Brickowl is fairly consistent. There's no rhyme or reason to Brickowl. It's just significantly less, and that is reflected in the earlier screen where it's 78, 77% to Bricklink. In terms of the store itself, we started June with 476. We ended it not too far off that, but it was a case of just kind of maintaining, really. Obviously, we only had a 3,500 increase. The lots was a good growth, though, from 12,700 up to 13,400 or 6. Bricklink fans, a small increase, not as much as we've seen in previous months, which I'm not sure. I'm not really sure why people choose to or not choose to be a fan of a store. Maybe just if it's been a good experience, they come back and shop there from preference rather than just using the wanted list search. Items sold, we've already been through. That's been a bit of a drop. And total orders, we've been through as well, a drop. YouTube subscribers, easy for me to say, grown nicely, up to 177, and that's continued to tick along at a similar pace this month. And views increased on last month's, which is good as well. Instagram followers, bog standard kind of growth there. Trying to do a little bit more on there, but you know, there's only so much you can do in so many channels, isn't there? And you know, the YouTube channel really is my focus, as it has the opportunity to generate some revenue. Store buyer locations, it's a first taking it out for New South Wales. I don't want to talk state of origin, but for those who don't understand that will know that the battle between Queensland and New South Wales in that is fairly fierce, and New South Wales have taken one here on the back of them taking the second game in that series as well. I don't really follow the state of origin, I'll be honest. I just watch it because it's a bit of an institution here. But as you can see, kind of New South Wales pretty steady at that 38 orders every month, and this month that's enough to tip them over the balance, because Queensland and Victoria is where the drop in orders is. If we drop down kind of 44 orders, you've actually looking at it pretty much through Queensland and Victoria, and those two states are the ones on school holidays. WA remain pretty consistent to its 20 a month. Obviously May was a bit of a spike there. Tasmania in that similar ballpark. South Australia, a slight pickup, but again kind of fairly steady, as are ACT. Kind of again, maybe, well, I say steady, that's an increase for ACT, but it's not without kind of the tolerances of what we've seen over previous months. And whilst overseas remains at 9, I don't see that changing with the recent price hikes from Australia Post. Adding a fair old chunk to overseas postage is not going to help Australia-based stores sell to overseas. I mean, shipping to Europe or the UK is fairly unimaginable given those prices, which is a real shame. A real shame. So, where does that put us on the charts? We are down one place. Brickwomble has leapt up, and by the time I'd made the left chart and then screenshot the right chart, Brickwomble had actually changed how many they had in the store again, so I had to adjust it. But they were storming up, so they've jumped up. They've jumped up massively, and that means I've dropped down to 6th, which is fair enough. And then on the right, I've just screen grabbed the one out of Bricklink, so you can see everybody that's in there. Obviously, Brick Warehouse way out in the lead as ever, and everyone else there. I think that puts me in 16th, which again is a drop of 1, with Brickwomble leaping quite a lot of slots there, clearly chasing that 500,000 with Schmidt Bricks as well. There's a fair few in the running there. I better get my game on to get back in that race, eh? So July, targeting the 5,000 parts. I've said that every month, haven't I? And the 14,000 lots, which was in touching distance. That one is. I'm going to do another giveaway. Need to have a think about what that's going to be, but I'm probably going to do that towards the end of the month, after I get other priorities out of the way. And establishing some kind of restock system. It's a bit kind of feast or famine at the moment. Kind of, I have long lists of parts that really I should be thinking about getting back in the store, and your funds come and go and stuff like that. So that whole financial balance is something I need to work on, just to get that right and to make sure that parts are coming into the store in a more sustainable manner going into our second year. So that's it. Obviously, July's review will be the first time I'm able to do 1 year of reviewing figures, as this July is the 1 year of the store. So thanks for everyone that's watched the videos. Thanks for everyone that's watched this video. If you've got questions, you've got comments, you've got thoughts, please leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.